I keep telling myself it was just a Tuesday, but that's not true. The memory still knots up when I think about it. I'm going to walk through it straight so I can breathe at the end. We were building Block D, the stack of micro-apartments by the transit spine. The city uses swarm rigs now, printer crawlers, cable drones, and one big assembler we call the Gull. Most days I guide them with the head rig and the spine harness. It feeds me sensor data through a skin patch behind my ear. It's like Wi-Fi, but your bones pick up the signal. You feel weight before you see it. I wanted the block done by Friday. If our crew beat schedule, I'd get a priority key for a 2-room unit. My daughter Layla has been sleeping in a shelter cot for 7 months. I promised her a window, not a beautiful view, just glass she could open herself. That promise ran my life. I was also scared, if I'm honest. I'm good with machines, but only when I don't rush. I freeze when I'm torn between the algorithm and my gut. I hate that about myself. It makes me slow, and slow costs points, and points decide keys. So I walked in early, fog on the alley and cables wet, and I clipped into the harness. The Gull sat in its bay with its hull patched in 5 colors, sponsor stickers peeling. Marisol logged in from the site trailer. "Weather gap until 2, she said. "Use it." Axel handed me a thermos and grinned like it was easy. I ran the checks. LiDAR clean, load clamps green, updated map downloaded overnight. The update worried me. New pathing always hides a surprise. But the sky was holding, and the schedule board pulsed yellow at me. I told myself to trust the plan. By 9, we had the printer crawlers laying foam forms in long, pale rows, and the drone pack dropped rebar bundles into the channels. The Gull's job was to lift prefab bathroom pods and seat them into the frames. Pods save time. The plumbing is already inside, wrapped and sealed. I jacked into the Gull and felt the unit settle into my shoulders. That calm weight always helps. People still lived on the edges of the site because moving takes time, and the city never gives enough of it. Ebony was one of them. She'd been on the 6th floor walkway for years, selling tea from a cart. She kept a little garden of plastic buckets. She waved every morning. "Don't crush my babies," she said like a joke. Today she had them lined on the dry part of the railing. I should have stopped and asked her to move them. I saw the yellow clock again and didn't. We took the first pod up. Easy. Second pod, the wind changed and the big ad tarp across the street came loose and swung like a slow door. My feed buzzed with occlusion alerts. I flagged caution, not full stop. That was my choice. I told myself it was fine. The Gull could place at crawl speed. Axel called from below. "Clear enough!" Then Nolan, the runner, cut across the ground lane under the lift. He was late with sealant cartridges, sprinting like always. The lane was roped off, but the ropes were no obstacle for anyone who knew the site's shortcuts. I should have killed the lift and shouted for a hold. I said, "Nolan, heads up," into the mic and kept going. This is the part where the memory goes loud. The ad tarp hit the pod and smeared dust across the sensor face, and the clamps twitched. The Gull translated that twitch to my spine. My legs went stiff. The pod swung a meter. Ebony screamed as a gust from the swing hit her buckets. 2 fell, scattering soil onto the ground below. "Hold," I said. The command didn't stick. The update had changed priority on the hold. It waits for a safe pose before freezing. The pod kept moving while it calculated. That took 3 seconds. I know because I counted later. Nolan slipped on the fallen soil. He went to his knees under the arc of the pod. I yanked the emergency brake on the local winch, and the cable whined sharply. The Gull answered with a jerk that slammed heat through my shoulders. The pod stopped half a meter above Nolan's back. Ebony was still yelling. Axel ran in and dragged Nolan clear by his vest, and I dropped the pod the last bit, slow, onto the frame. When the clamps released, my hands shook so hard I had to hold the harness to stop them. The alarms finally caught up. A sight drone hovered into film. Marisol's voice sharpened. "Who flagged caution and not full stop?" I said, "Me." She asked, "You saw an occlusion and a person under load?" I didn't blame her tone. We live by checklists, and I had stepped off one. We did the triage. Nolan's knee was banged and bleeding. I washed it with saline and wrapped it. He said, "I'm okay, Priya," like he wanted me to stop shaking. Ebony stood at the broken buckets, holding a cracked planter like it was a body. "These were my mother's," she said. I knew her mother's story. The woman had kept the plants alive through 3 evictions. A med drone took Nolan to the clinic. The city safety auditor rolled up with a tablet and a blank face. "Preventable incident," she said. I signed. Our score dropped. I watched my priority key slide off the board. I didn't cry in front of them. I was too numb. We still had an hour in the weather gap. Marisol asked if I could run, and I said yes. She looked at me for a long second and nodded. We lifted 3 more pods. I made every call by the book. No one moved under load. Ebony rescued the last of her soil with a dustpan. I kept wanting to apologize to her and kept thinking it would sound cheap, so I brought her 2 clean buckets from storage and left them by the railing. She didn't look at me. When the rain came, it came fast, drumming on the metal walkway and turning the dust to paste. We shut the site. I walked to the shelter. Layla was practicing multiplication on a cracked tablet. She looked up with that quick grin that makes me weak. "Did you get the window?" she asked. I sat on the edge of the cot. "Not yet," I said. "We're a little behind." She watched my face, and kids know when you're hiding something. "Are you hurt?" she asked. "No," I said. "I saved a boy from getting crushed." That part tasted true and good in my mouth. She slid her hand into mine. "Then you did good," she said. I lay awake that night replaying the 3 seconds, trying to pull them apart. The tarp, the buckets, the slip, the break. If I had hit full stop at the first alert, the pod would have frozen over the street. We would have waited 10 minutes for a drone to wipe the sensor, and my score would have dipped a little, not a lot. But that window felt close, and I reached for it, and the reach was the mistake. The next morning, I strapped in again. The gull blue hull of the assembler had new scrapes. I put my hand on the metal and felt nothing but cold. I told myself the rules out loud and followed each one. I also walked to the 6th floor walkway before the first lift and helped Ebony replant one of her starts. She didn't say thank you. That was fair. This is what I know now. The machines do what we tell them, but the math doesn't hold you when you go home. I still want the window for Layla, more than anything. I'm still afraid I'll choke at the wrong moment. But I have the shape of that day in my head now, in order. And when I close my eyes, I see the pod stop above Nolan and I hear him say, "I'm okay." I hold on to that. Tomorrow, I'll try again. This has been The Math Doesn't Hold You. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe. It really helps. Thank you for listening.